All right, last week, you guys, we started 1.5a. We got through most of it. I want to finish it today, and we are going to get 1.5b done. So you guys tomorrow can work in class on your web assign. I'll put together some sort of a little review, whatever, because you guys have a very basic, very straightforward quiz on Wednesday. That's going to count for quarter one. If you know already you're not going to be here Wednesday, you need to make plans to be able to take the quiz Thursday. All right, it has to be done this week so I can get it graded into the grade book. You don't want to have it go in as a 0. So let's go to example 22. All right, what does a negative underneath the radical mean? There's an imaginary, okay? The first thing I want you to do, get in the habit of taking the imaginaries out. So this says to simplify. So we're going to rewrite this as the square root of 7 times the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 7 times the square root of negative 1. All right, get in the habit. I know this first one's easy, but I need you guys to get in the habit so we don't make mistakes along the way. All right, if I were to what is the square root of negative 1? I, right? And so I have another I here, correct? If I were to multiply those two together, what is I times I? I squared, okay? And then what is the square root of 7 times the square root of 7? It's the square root of 49, right? Which is what? 7, good. And then how can I simplify this a little more? What is I squared equal to? Negative 1. So I can cross this off and make this a negative 7. I know some of you are going to say, well, can't you just figure that out by multiplying the same radical? Yes. But when they're not the same, that's when we need to remember, oh, I got to take out that negative. That's where we're going to fall into some issues of remembering that our negative has to come out. So this, guys, right here, I have negative square root of 1, right? Times the square root of 6 times square root of negative 1 times the square root of 10, correct? Yes or no? All right, so I'm going to simplify. Square root of negative 1 is I. The square root of negative 1 here is I. So what's I times I going to give me? I squared, okay. And then square root of 6 times square root of 10. Square root of 60, perfect. And then can I break down the square root of 60? What times what gives me 60? Perfect square and a non-perfect square. 15 and 4. Okay, so I could say 4 times 15. So now let's fully simplify. What is I squared? Negative 1. Yes? And then what is the square root of 4? 2. So when I fully simplify this, this becomes negative 2 square root of 15. All right, 24 is a division problem. Again, do not do anything until you separate. Let's go ahead and separate on the top. I have the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 20 over the square root of, negative 1 times the square root of 2. Everybody with me? What is the square root of negative 1? I, good. So I have an I on the top and an I on the bottom. What do you think you can do when you have an I on the top and an I on the bottom? Cancel them out, good. And then there's 2 ways you can simplify here. We could break down 20, right, into 4 and 5 and all that. Or, since they're both underneath the radical, guys, what's 20 divided by 2? 10, so this leaves me with just the square root of 10. All right, what do we notice about this one? Do they both have negatives underneath? No. So let's go ahead and separate first. Take that negative, square root of negative 1 times the square root of 48 over the square root of 24. What is the square root of negative 1? I, okay. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And then I'm going to simplify. I'm going to go ahead and divide 48 divided by 24. What is 48 divided by 24? 2, right? This cancels and this becomes 2. So I have I times the square root of 2. Remember, if you have 2 radicals and they're on top of it, they're dividing, you can go ahead and simplify inside first. You don't have to automatically just rationalize or anything like that. These kind of get redundant. Let's do 29. This is where we got to be real careful here, guys. We got to be real careful. What happens? What should we do? Where should we start simplifying? So did you see negatives? Where should we start simplifying? Okay, let's take negative square root of negative 1 times the square root of 12 times the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 6 all over the square root of 8. All right, do that first. When we simplify this, the square root of negative 1 is what? I. And here, the square root of negative 1 is what? I. So I have I squared times the square root. Multiply the top. What's 12 times 6? 72. Okay. Over the square root of 8. What can I replace that I squared with? Negative 1. Good. So negative 1 times. And then what can I do with 72 and 8? Can I divide those? What's 72 divided by 8? So when I simplify this, guys, what is the square root of 9? 3. And I times it by negative 1. So my answer here is negative 3. All right. There's lots of ways that you can simplify. You don't have to do it exactly how I did it. But we use our rules from our chapter P section of multiplying and dividing radicals. Now, the only thing that's different is there is a negative underneath. It's the only change. All right, let's go to the next ones. Let's do these last couple, and then we'll do the last slide, and then I'll do the next lesson. All right? What should I do first in 30? Take out what? The negative, right? So I have negative 8 times negative 1 times the square root of 128 all over the whole number 4. Everybody with me? Okay. A little bit of simplifying we can do. What is the square root of negative 1? I. So I can write this as negative 8i. And then let's break up 128. What are we going to break up 128 into? Think about a big perfect square. 64. Yep. What's 64 times what? There you go. Perfect. So what is the square root of 64? 8. So I'm going to take that out. What am I going to do with the negative 8i on the outside and the 8 I just pulled out? Multiply. Okay, good. Was there a plus sign? Okay, no. Okay, so I have what? Negative 64 square root of 2 over 4. Did I forget to? Yeah, I forgot to write it. Sorry. It's still there. And then what can I simplify? Yeah, why? No, 8 times 8. So what can I simplify here? Divide what? Top and bottom by 4. Okay, so this becomes a 1 on the bottom. And 64 divided by 4 is 16. So we have negative 16 square root of 2. Yeah, why do I keep forgetting to write it? Sorry. All right, how is 31 a little different from the ones we were just doing? Because there's a plus sign. Things change a little bit, guys. Some of you are still simplifying, going like this. I just graded a whole group of tests. Some of you are still doing this. You're not allowed to do that. Stop doing that, guys. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to separate. I have negative 9 plus the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 18 all over 3. Leave that 3 in the denominator to the very end. All right, so simplifying, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to take out square root of negative 1 is what letter? I. And what am I going to break 18 into? Okay, so which becomes 3 square roots of 2, right? So you guys have negative 9 plus 3i square root of 2 over 3. How do I instruct you guys to fully simplify? To split it. Negative 9 over 3 plus 3i square root of 2 over 3. A lot of you are still making the same mistake. Split it up. Just graded a whole class of tests, DE, where people are doing this. You cannot do that, guys. That 3 in the denominator goes with both terms in the numerator. So when I divide negative 9 divided by 3, I get negative 3. Plus, what happens on the right-hand side? The 3's cancel, so this becomes I square root of 2. That's a major, major, major no-no to cancel incorrectly. Very important you guys see that. All right, let's do 32. Get the same kind of problem. It's a plus sign, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as 5 plus the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 50 over 10. So as we simplify, what is the square root of negative 1? I. And what can I break 50 into? 25 times 2. Good. So when I take this out, this becomes 5 plus what? 5i square root of 2 over what? 10. So when I simplify 5 over 10 plus 5i square root of 2 over 10. What's 5 over 10? What does that simplify to? 1/2, 1 over 2, plus what? I square root of 2 over what? Over 2? Right? Because it's 5 on top? Yeah. If you wanted to write it as 1, if you wanted to write 1 plus I square root of 2 over 2, you could because they have the same denominator. That's fine. All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about, you're going to have 1 or 2 of these on your quiz. Your quiz is only going to be 10 questions. These are pretty simple. This is just evaluating powers of I. This is so we understand the concept of I squared equals negative 1, that sort of a thing. So there's a couple ways that you guys can do this. I like the way Miss Corey does it, so I'm going to use her method. If we do everything based upon I squared equals negative 1, right? When you have an odd number, 5 is an odd number, yes? If I were to break this down, I could say I squared. What would I have to raise my I squared to so that my power, when I multiplied these two together, was the 5th power? I'd have to square this, correct? What happens when you raise a power to a power? You multiply. So this is 4 and then 1 here, correct? Every time you want to raise it in, you want to try to evaluate to where you break it down. So I squared is kind of the base, we'll say. Whenever you have an odd power, it's always going to have a random I by itself. If it's an even, it'll work evenly. So think about this, guys. I squared is what number? So this is really negative 1 squared times I. What is negative 1 squared? 1. Positive 1 times I. So this just becomes just plain old I. If you always break it down into I squared times something, you'll be able to evaluate very easily. So think about this. What would I have to break this down into? If I went I squared to what power gives me 32? 16, right? Because 16 times 2 is 32. So again, now let's use numbers. I squared is equivalent to what number? Negative 1. And negative 1 to the 16th power gives you what? Positive 1. Yep. Any negative number raised to an even power becomes positive. All right, so think about 33. I have my I squared. Since it's an odd number, I know I'm going to have a random I. What would I have to raise I squared to? Yep, perfect. Because 16 times 2 is what? 32. And then this would be 33. So 16 is my exponent that I'm raising negative 1 to the 16th power. What's any negative number raised to an even power? It's positive, so it just becomes I. 1 times I. Look at 36. How's 36 a little bit different? It's negative. What do we do, guys, with a negative exponent? You move it to the bottom, so this becomes 1 over I to the 16th power. Perfect. So now I want to use I squared as my base. I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over I squared to what power would give me 16? 8. Good. So I have 1 over negative 1, correct, to the 8th power. What is negative 1 to the 8th power? Positive 1. So what's my answer here? 1. When you guys do this, your answers are either going to be I, negative I, positive 1, or a negative 1. That's it. Those are the only 4 choices. So if you get a question like this on the quiz and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally forget, you could, process of elimination, you could probably figure out at least a 50-50 chance. If it's an even exponent, you know, that negative 1 squared, or to the any even power is going to give you 1, that sort of a thing. But you guys can just practice that. We'll go through that a little bit more, I promise.